And why did he make you so special? Why did he bless you? Think about it. I woke up this morning. Gonna smile when I say that shit. I woke up this morning. Go.
And we are live. We're live, James.
Yeah.
I'm here with my buddy James from Ireland.
Northern Ireland, actually.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know we're actually separate countries.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, you know, the UK is made up of 4 countries.
Kind of like North and South Korea, except...
Yeah, except we're not dictators in the North. No.
Wait, look, so let's see it on here, because...
Yeah, you can actually see a little color change there. That's the week.
Oh, okay, so Northern Ireland's a lot smaller.
Oh, yeah, we've only got 1.8 million people.
And what does Ireland have?
Like 4.
Oh, really? I thought it was like 10 for some reason.
Oh, it was 10 before the potato famine happened, but we've still never recovered from the population decrease. Way. So people either died or, you know, came across to good old America.
When was the potato famine?
It was the 1800s, like 1850s kind of time.
Well, that makes sense. That would take a while to recover. Even like, I mean, what is it, 200 years since then?
Yeah,
still
well, almost, yeah.
Almost 200 years?
Yeah, and to be fair, most of it wasn't actually just from starvation. It was just from disease and exposure, because it got very cold in the winter months up there, and people had no shelter. And the English government as well screwed us over back then, because they rejected...
The English government screwed you over?
Oh yeah, they rejected aid that was being sent from all over the world to us.
Wow.
Yeah, whereas... Yeah.
Intentionally to...
Oh yeah. They wanted the population to decrease so they could send more settlers over. And eventually that's what happened, and that's how Northern...
Really?
Yeah.
To make it more like... Because aren't Ireland and Northern Ireland in close ties with England in some sort of way?
Oh yeah, we're good now today. Don't worry about it today. But back then, you know, England was still an empire when they needed to run their empire, right?
Right.
So they did what was called the Scottish plantation, and they ended up taking a bunch of Scots and they just dropped them into Northern Ireland to have a Protestant majority there.
Really?
Yeah, eventually they gave a referendum to the people, and they took the 6 most Protestant-dominated counties and made that in Northern Ireland.
Why did they seek out Protestants?
It's the religion back then. Back then it was all about religion. Sure, this is also around the time...
That's like a form of artificial selection from an empire that...
This is back whenever the Spanish Armada came and attacked, and it was Catholics v Protestants again. This is back when Queen Elizabeth was in power, I think. She was a staunch Protestant.
Okay.
So this is back in the Tudor era.
Oh, I was turning down the brightness of that.
That's fine, yeah.
So this is what times in the 1800s?
You know, you might want to Google check that just to be safe.
What am I Googling?
What was it? So we'll just type in potato famine and see what pops up. I'll give you a more accurate time frame.
And while we're looking for this, I was curious, where are the best places that you would recommend traveling to in Ireland or Northern Ireland?
Well, if you want Northern Ireland, Belfast is obviously a good place to head.
Belfast?
Yeah, it's the capital.
Okay.
Yeah, good nightlife, good sights. It's probably the most fun city.
Sites as in like nature, or...
Oh, well, for Belfast, there's like the murals as well from our semi-Civil War kind of time. There's also, well, we built a peace wall through Belfast. So
really?
Yeah, during the height of our troubled times, to divide the Catholics and Protestants so they wouldn't have to get irritated by each other.
What's up with humans and walls dividing us?
To be fair, it worked for us.
It worked. It was effective.
Yeah, it worked. Like, it's still standing to this day.
Like, as a country, you guys all kind of equally accepted that it was a good thing that happened for you?
Well,
or is there any debate, like, what would the country be like if the wall was never built?
Well, look, the Catholics of the time weren't too happy about it because they felt they were being walled out. Protestants at the time felt a bit safer because they felt that the Catholics were being kept behind walls, because it was nationalist v loyalist back then. But it's not as bad now, but... You know, it's still no surprise to hear the occasional bomb scare every now and again. You know, stuff that you would shit your pants over here, but back home not so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kind of desensitized to that? Like, because we're desensitized to seeing it here in the United States, but are you desensitized to hearing that there's a potential threat that could end your life?
Well, I'm not going to say that there are threats every day, because
Right,
I
right.
never really saw many threats. But when you heard about it, it was, they very rarely, if ever, actually detonated.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's audacious of the Irish community to be like,
No,
yo, I'm not
everyone-
going to live in fear.
Now, everyone just wants to move forward. Even the modern day loyalists and Republicans, they just want to move forward. It's
So
just,
they're working together to move forward,
They're trying
despite
to.
their differences.
well, it depends on certain days. Like on the 12th of July, for example, that's when it gets fun.
Okay.
Like for the last few years, it's been getting a lot better though. But it's basically just a giant, fuck you to some of the other people there. Like it's mostly just parades, loyalist Protestants marching around certain areas, and they go into Catholic areas when they know they shouldn't, but they do it just to piss them off.
So is it extremely... There's religious wars basically going on within the country.
Northern Ireland's one of the few countries that actually
Here
still
it's
cares.
racial.
Oh yeah,
wars,
it's
kinda.
racial. It's
very
racial.
racial here, but there it's what divides people is religion.
Well, it's 98.5% white, so it's not really a racial thing with us.
Okay.
We have more Asians than we do black people.
No way,
We
really?
only have just over 0.5% Asian population.
And that's all you have?
That's the last time I checked on the census. It may
And
be
you have more Asians than black people?
Yeah,
So it's pretty much just all white in Ireland.
majority. Yeah.
Okay.
Although after Brexit, I did notice a lot more of diversity flooding around the towns. We came up with the idea that they moved to Northern Ireland because it's still the UK. But if the UK did leave the European Union and say they were told they had to go, they could just jump over the border to the Republic and stay in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, and you can live in Ireland and work in Northern Ireland and be fine. You don't need a visa. There's a soft border, meaning that it's basically like a state border.
I kind of assumed there would be. That's cool though. That's cool.
The only way you tell that you cross from Northern Ireland to Southern Ireland is you notice that the speed is now kilometers per hour on the signs.
What do you mean? What is it in Northern Ireland?
Miles per hour. Same as
No way.
Yeah, that's how you tell. And then there's some gibberish.
There's no
words.
welcome to Ireland, welcome to Northern Ireland. No way.
Some roads maybe. I haven't seen them yet.
Okay.
Yet, but yeah, sure. What a lot of people do is the biggest problem with us is fuel laundering though, because
What laundering?
fuel.
Fuel?
Yeah,
Really?
like the UK tax is so high on gas. It's probably about $6 or $7 a gallon if you were to pay our prices.
No way.
Whereas if you go across the border, it's probably about $4 a gallon roughly.
This is probably a very ignorant question, but what is the United Kingdom? That includes
United Kingdom and Great Britain and Northern Ireland, yeah.
in just Northern Ireland exclusively.
England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland.
England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland.
Yep.
Isn't Australia like a colony of England?
That's the Commonwealth.
What does that mean?
It's basically like a partnership that we all have. They were all like Canada's part of the Commonwealth. Fiji, Samoa, I think.
Is this like a pact? Like if you guys were to go into war, just one of you, then you would all follow, or
I would assume so. I like to think so, but basically they're all made up from what do you call them? The Empire. Basically, they were the remnants of the Empire.
okay.
So basically, any flag you see that has the Union Jack on it, it's fair to say that they were part of the Commonwealth. Like New Zealand's also part of it, and you'd think that we would have had trade deals set up with all of these countries because of the union we have with them, but when we were with Europe, we couldn't exactly do that because they were outside of Europe. So they would levy the taxes on us to export even more, even though we would get more business from the Commonwealth compared to Europe, which is bankrupt.
So what was it like being over there during Brexit? Or were you over in Ireland?
Oh, I was in England for my senior year, and I'm telling you, the way Brexit went was almost exactly the same as the election here.
Okay.
Except
A lot of fear distilled in the people, or a lot of
if you were a Brexiteer, meaning you would vote for Brexit, you would almost be systematically targeted.
So
by
it's
people.
very divided in that sense.
Oh yeah, like put it this way, the people usually never believe politicians, right? They tell them, oh, they're lying, they're just trying to line their pockets, they're snakes, blah blah blah. But as soon as the politicians said we needed to stay in Europe, everyone would listen to them.
Really?
So it's like, for the last, I've heard you bash on this politician for 5 years. Now you're saying we should agree with him. It's like, you just did the biggest 180 ever.
Yeah, it sounds a bit hypocritical.
Yeah. And the fact that it was the banks, the ones that got everyone in the recession, like the big banks, all of the other businesses that were just greedy and relying on cheap labor, outsourcing jobs.
Uh-huh.
Like Richard Branson even said to stay in Europe. Oh yeah, stay in Europe. That way you get tax deductions and
there's a lot of credibility there. I respect that man's opinion a lot.
Yeah, but to be fair, when it comes to losing money or having to spend more money on better wages than UK workers, they're gonna throw the UK under the bus. They just want a cheaper business. That's it. Whereas, so you've got the stereotypical liberals of the UK saying, "Oh, we need to stay," and all the banks are saying we have to stay. It's like, yeah, 2 years ago you were calling for these people to be arrested. Now you're going to listen to them on our future. It was so hypocritical of all of that. And the best way you could describe Brexit was, imagine living in a house with 15 people.
Right.
You're all meant to pay your own rent, blah blah blah. Suddenly 5 of them can't afford their rent because they blew it all.
Basically, people aren't pulling their own weight, like Greece.
Yep. Greece didn't even bother taxing their civil servants for one thing, so they lost revenue there, and they didn't produce anything. Their biggest income was the tourism industry, and that was it.
No exports?
They had very little exports.
Really?
Very little compared to other countries. Plus, if you looked at their Olympic stadiums, they're all in ruins now. They never bothered maintaining them, never bothered actually bringing any other events to Greece. Once the Athens 2004 games were over, just if I wait to see what they look like, I just Google Athens Olympic stadiums.
Potato famine was 1845, by the way.
Yep. Only 1 million people died, but a lot of people emigrated.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was
immigrated to or immigrated away.
Here.
That's why, because the United States was like the most notorious spot to go, right? Like the land of opportunity.
Oh sure, it just gained its independence around then, didn't it?
1845. No, it was 1776 whenever we signed the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
So that would have been whenever it was a new country. It was a fresh start, a new idea.
They needed a population boost, so yeah. But Athens Olympic stadiums. Olympic venues now. See that one there, third down? Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
See?
No way.
Those were the Olympic stadiums where people won medals, broke world records, and billions was spent. Greece.
Wow.
They never bothered maintaining it.
Why?
They were broke. They didn't want to invest money. I mean,
I like that arch over there.
Oh yeah, no, I remember watching it as well.
Wow, that looks super modern, but it's like deserted. It kind of reminds me of the movie with Will Smith with like the zombies with New York City just like
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. Yep.
Yeah. No, and then it's the same story with where was it before that? No, it was Sydney before them. Athens was 2004.
This is from 2004, these stadiums.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, like compared to Beijing of 2008.
It looks like a fucking ghost town.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what happened. They never reinvested in themselves, and then they basically expected payouts.
Yeah. So would you say that like Greece is like the entitled country of the European Union?
I wouldn't say entitled, but they're definitely not the smartest.
Okay.
Like their government at the time, like I have an aunt that lives in Greece. She's got she's got several kids out there. Well, they're adults now, but there was a time you couldn't even go to an ATM and bring out more than 1,000 euros or whatever it was. Like they were running out of currency.
Really?
If I know they ran out of currency, that's what it was.
Was it worse than Germany after World War One?
Well, Germany in World War One, they never ran out of money. They printed too much money because
the inflation was out there. Like kids would just have like fat stacks.
Oh yeah, no, it was the worst rate of inflation at that time because they thought they could just print more money and their problem would go away. But yeah, it became worthless. But well, you see, one of the reasons why Greece failed was they joined the euro. So,
Wait, Greece failed because they joined the Euro?
Let's actually double check that.
Wait, before I forget, I got a surprise for you.
Yeah.
If you want to open up that cooler right there. Doesn't even leave the chair. Stays put.
Aww.
Hey.
I'm American, obvious. They've started selling this back
That was me embracing a stereotype.
Oh no, it's fine.
That might have been a hate crime and a favor at the same time, you know?
Gosh, no, if you want to get on political correctness, you're going to be here for a while because that's the biggest bullshit there ever was. Nah, like they've started selling this in the UK, and I was so surprised to see it as well. But it tastes,
Bud Light?
Yeah, it tastes a bit different.
Yeah, it starts in a... How does...
To freedom.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I got some wine left over.
Oh, classy mofo.
Friends don't let friends drink alone, right?
Nah. Well, just before we get back to Greece, I actually bought a bottle of whiskey there before I came in. That's what took me so long to get here. Like I found a bottle of 21-year-old Bushmills whiskey, and in the UK it costs about £125 a bottle, which is about $160, I want to say.
No way.
Yeah, I got it for $100 today.
So alcohol's so cheap here in the US.
Oh yeah,
so cheap.
Because you guys have like 100 other exports that you can generate income from, whereas the UK is 1/10 the size of America, so we have to tax everything more.
Okay.
But before we get on to the UK versus America on taxes, let's just check that thing about Greece though, like just to see what currency they have. Yeah, currency, there it is. Yeah, they use the euro.
Okay. So who all uses the euro?
Most of Europe.
So it's not accepted anymore in Britain?
No, it was never used in Britain. No, whenever we joined in 1987, I think it was 87.
Because Britain has the pound.
Yeah, we kept our own currency. Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, we kept it because that was one of our terms, because we knew that eventually it was going to break. Like the euro's very close to the dollar. In fact, what's the current exchange rate with the dollar? So euro to USD. There you are.
I used to trade this in foreign or forex.
So at the minute you guys are better off than the euro. So for every euro you buy, it's $1.18 as of today.
No, that means the euro's worth more. The euro's worth more because they got more US dollars.
Oh yeah, you guys are really getting screwed over. Because £1 will buy $1.30, I think, at the minute.
Okay.
So we're stronger than the euro at the minute, but there's the difference between the US and Europe is there's 500 million people using the euro, whereas there's only 330 million of you guys using the dollar.
Okay.
But you guys have bigger...
Really? So all of Europe is bigger than the US? I mean, I'm not surprised by that, but...
Population-wise, yeah.
I did not know that. Okay.
America's so big and vast, and, it's different.
So what are some big culture... So comparison between Irish culture and American culture. What are some big differences that you...
I wouldn't know about the South, but British, I can tell you a few things. The Brits were more... We don't really have... It is difficult to explain at times because it's so different as well. Because the Scots are different to the English, the Welsh are different to the Scots, and then the Northern Irish are different to the English. It is so different though.
Well, compared to your immediate location back home, like what you're used to.
Northern Ireland then?
Yeah, so compared to Northern Ireland.
Well, the culture around there, they both value God, for one thing. Like, the politicians all say they value God, so they're basically the same as Republicans.
They need to run on that because the population supports it so heavily.
Yeah, but it's also there.
It's kind of the same here.
Yeah, but here you've got more leeway.
Yeah.
Like, in Northern Ireland, I only found out recently that like casino halls are actually illegal.
Really?
Yeah, you can't get a license for a casino in Northern Ireland, but you can in England.
Why is that?
Moral objection on our tourism ministers or whatever.
I don't necessarily fully disagree with that. I mean, if you want to look at it like revenue and like taxable revenue,
it generates a lot for the UK economy there.
True.
Millions of...
If you want to look at it like in economic terms, then I kind of agree with it, but I don't know. I just morally and ethically, I kind of agree. Like it's kind of stealing from people in a way.
No,
but people
really.
do it. I mean, they're agreeing to do it, so why not?
Oh yeah, sure.
And if there's a demand for it, why shouldn't it be there?
Well, to be fair, sure. If you say that it's stealing from the people, then how can you justify, the tobacco, the alcohol, or driving? No,
you're right. There are greater problems.
Dangerous. Yeah,
there are much greater problems.
It's like why? It's like well, for example, because we don't have much, we don't have as many exports as you guys. Our alcohol taxes are severely higher than you guys. Like going to the bar and getting a pint of beer here is what, $2-3, give or take, $3 or so.
Depends what night you're going out, if it's college night or what.
Yeah, you guys actually have offers. We don't have happy hour.
Really?
Some places will do it in England, but Northern Ireland.
Why not? I mean, if you lower price, that's an incentive. It creates demand.
Alcohol laws. Not allowed to offer.
So they don't allow.
Well, it's just in Massachusetts here. You got Massachusetts. There are no alcohol promotion. Like,
see, that's the fun of things, because then it creates tradition in the week.
Oh yeah.
Like you always have here. You always have Thursday nights. That's always an option. Everybody knows Thursday night is college night. Everybody
or
$2
Tuesdays.
$2 Tuesdays. I've never been out for that.
No, Dublin's has it in the town.
Oh, that's cool. That's what's up.
It's buzzing on Tuesdays.
Well, Dublin's, that's an Irish theme, right?
Yeah. No. Well. Oh, yeah, in case anyone knows, Dublin's is a bar in Springfield that's actually pretty good at what it tries to sell itself as. No, but yeah, so our tobacco laws are a lot higher, so you'll never see cigar shops or anything you can find out here, very restricted back home.
Really?
Yeah, we're worse than New York most of the times for our taxes. Like they abolished the 10 packs. Well, the European law abolished 10 packs because.
What are 10 packs?
Just cigarettes. Packets of cigarettes are just 10 cigarettes in them.
Why
so
do they limit it to like a smaller amount?
No, the smallest you can get is a 20 pack.
Really?
And they jack the tax on those up because that way, if you're thinking of starting to smoke, you can't just buy the small pack.
You gotta commit. Yeah, you gotta commit. And psychologically, I love that.
Yeah, you're less likely to try something if it's expensive and you have to buy more of it. It's like it's like if you want to try a drink, imagine, well, if you want to try Crown Royal, for example, right? Imagine going to a bar, I'll have a Crown Royal. All right, and they give you a handle and says that'll be $75. It's like, I'm not going to try that.
Yeah.
See, that's the mentality.
That was a great example.
Yeah, or see, that's just how it works.
You're not going to commit to that. You're like, well, I've never smoked a cig before. You haven't at that point made the correlation between happiness and cigarettes or mental ease or whatever your reasoning for smoking cigarettes is. You haven't made that correlation yet.
Yeah.
So. Psychologically, it makes a lot of sense because you don't want to commit to something, and you're like, well, it's bad for me anyway. You start thinking of reasons why you shouldn't pay all this extra money.
To be fair, I can understand it to an extent on why that's a better attitude than what America has, which is basically they'll market the shit out of anything and everything they can. Consumer-based
society, man. It's weird to live here. Because I consider myself a minimalist. Like, if anything, like I try to keep. It's about the value you place on your possessions, and I try to I do not put much value in my things, because whenever you put your value in your things, that's when life fucks you and you're gonna live unfulfilled.
Sure. It's also like something that my grandmother told me. She said she's never seen a hearse with a tow bar.
What's a hearse?
A hearse is like a car that carries a coffin.
Never seen a hearse in a toolbar?
Hearse. No T at the end.
A hearse.
Yeah. It's the car that pretty much carries the coffin at funerals.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said she's never seen one with a tow bar, which means that you can't put a trailer on to bring your possessions with you.
Wow, that's deep.
Oh yeah, this woman's 90 years old and she still cuts you like a knife.
Really?
Oh god.
Like, I had to think about that for a second. I was like,
no,
ponder it.
Hearses and tow bars, yeah, those are more common back home. Like, like here it's all about trucks and pickups that carry everything, whereas back home it's like, oh, you need to physically put a tow bar in the back of it if you want to pull a trailer.
Right.
Because pickup trucks just aren't a thing with us.
Yeah, I've noticed that. That's because I had 2 Australian buddies who kind of came over here and changed my perspective on like the way I see the world. I spent a ton of time with these dudes, hung out with them like the entire semester. I ended up traveling across the country with them, but they kind of opened my eyes to that too. They're like, man, there are so many trucks here in the United States,
and they're driven by assholes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, like honestly, 9 out of 10 times I get pissed off while driving, and I'm an extremely mindful person, or I try to be to the best of my ability. Yeah. And I don't necessarily react to my emotions, but whenever I do get mad in the car while driving, 9 out of 10 times it is somebody driving a truck.
Because
they're kind of bullies the way they drive some of the people.
When I drove my dad's ML Mercedes, which is like a, it's like a Jeep kind of setup, right? It's a, what do you call it? It's an SUV, big SUV. For us in the UK, it's pretty big, and I did feel a little bit, slightly more superior in that idea because you're higher up, you're bigger, you look down on all the cars around you. Whereas over here, it's like some of the hood of the trucks is taller than my car. Some of the times, I'm like,
oh yeah.
Why the hell do you need that, mate? That's just the European in me talking.
I don't get it either, man. I really don't get it.
The roads are smaller, fuel is more expensive, and
that is kind of the paradox or the irony behind it. Like,
also the insurance just rips.
The people driving those big trucks, if they live out in the country, they're probably driving on like.
Oh no, those trucks.
Way less wide roads.
Those are needed. Like those trucks on farms or in the ranches, whatever. Like those are you need them.
Yeah, I would say
like that's where they belong. But in a city or on a highway, especially whenever they have like the monster truck tire extensions, I'm like, dude, you probably weigh less than me, and I weigh 150 pounds, and you're driving a monster truck.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
just go home.
You motherfucker. Think about the children. Think about the environment.
Oh, fuck that.
You don't agree?
Well,
I've heard...
if we're going to talk about the environment now, this is going to take a while.
I've heard every single country in... what is the Paris Agreement has not fulfilled, or they're not up to quota by where they need to be by the end of the year. And what is it? It's November 17th. Like they're not getting there. Not a single country.
Sure.
There's still being progress made, but it's going very slow.
Well, the whole environmental thing is, in my opinion, it is just a way for governments to manipulate their people or manipulate. The oil producing companies or something. It just doesn't seem right because we've had 2 ice ages and 2 thawing stages before man really did anything, right? Like, sure, before the car, the biggest producer of CO2 was the ocean. Out of
because there are 5 great mass extinctions, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's something like, here, I'll look it up real quick. But
sure.
So that means 2 of them are ice ages? Because I've heard an ice age, like a global cooling, is much worse than a global warming.
Oh, yeah. Well, the global cooling that happened almost instantly was the last time Yellowstone erupted, I think.
When was that?
I do not know, but basically, what happened whenever Yellowstone erupted was
5 major extinctions. Yeah.
Yeah. What are they?
What are the 5 major extinctions?
Okay, those are just random words.
Ordovician, Silurian, mass extinction.
There's Jurassic.
Jurassic. I'm assuming this is.
That's BBC. That's fake. One. That's BBC stuff. That's fake news.
Fake news. Yeah. Fake news.
Nah.
Where's your credibility, BBC?
Nah, BBC.
Get out of here, you fucks.
I lost respect for them when they glorified Castro and his death.
Glorified Castro.
Yeah, the man. Well,
really, this was this year, wasn't it? That was earlier this
2016,
year.
I think. Yeah.
Wow.
No, we'll put it this way. Well, just side note on Castro. This is a man that's massacred, murdered, and tortured homosexuals. Yet liberals praised him for his heroic standoff against America. It's like, really? He's like, I know.
Liberals speaking American liberals or
American liberals ones. Like it's like.
You seem more Republican. You seem more.
No, I'm more. You see, that's the idea. Before we get into the politics side, let's finish the environment side. But just for the record, I'm more libertarian to that extent.
Really? Okay.
More. I kind of like I swing between both.
That's where I am. I'm extremely independent. I would say more than anything.
Nah, I like to call myself a logical person.
Okay, yeah, that's how you seem. You seem a very rational mind.
I like to think so. Anyone who says they are this or they are that, you never are what you say you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, I may not be logical. I don't know. It's basically actions do speak louder than words in the way you do things.
Absolutely. There's a quote by Andrew Carnegie. I want to say he was Scottish. He was Scottish. Never mind.
That's fine. I've got Scottish blood in me as well.
But Andrew Carnegie has a quote. Wait, what did you just say?
I have Scottish blood in me as well.
No, before that about. It was okay. So Andrew Carnegie has a quote. It says, as the older I've gotten, the less I pay attention to what men say, the more I pay attention to what men do.
Oh, yeah.
Because I agree with that. Like, actions do speak a lot louder than words, for sure.
Yeah, but anyway, well, back to the environmental point, though, because we need to finish these points before we keep going off elsewhere. Now, basically with the environment, what do you call it? The amount of carbon dioxide that goes in the air, it would be good if we didn't deforest the trees. That's the biggest problem we have. Mm-hmm. Greenhouse gases could easily be stopped, not by switching to electric cars, not by turning off your night light or whatever.
Just nature. Yeah,
because if you look at all these companies that say, for every tree we cut down, we're planting 3 more. That's 2 extra trees being made, replacing the one that was just lost as well. So eventually that would filter out the environment, but it's the fact that the population keeps growing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like saying you have a food shortage, right? So you've got a crops that grow and they produce 10 pounds of, I don't know, let's just say potatoes for argument's sake, because potato famine guy and all that stuff. So let's say you grow 10 potatoes a year and it feeds you.
Okay.
You've got 5 people, 2 potatoes a month, you're fine.
Right.
But then say you now have 12 people, there's less food to go around.
Right.
Then you get 15 people, so everyone's living on half of what they used to feed.
More needs to be met.
Yeah, and then more people.
More carbon footprints.
Yeah, more people, more space, so less room for more crops to grow, which means you're producing less food and you have to feed more people. So it's just the population. Well, to be fair, if you look at
it's like 2 steps in the wrong direction.
Yeah, sure.
Cutting down trees and then
sure. If you look at the explosive populations,
I was talking about that on the podcast last Wednesday as well. But my very last one before this, we're talking about the population and like in our lifetime. So you're a little bit older than me, aren't you?
I'm 23.
23. Okay, I'm 22, so we're about the same age.
So I'm older, yeah.
So the world population right now is like 7.6 billion.
That's gone up 600 million in the last 3-4 years.
No shit.
Something like that. I was in high school when it happened, so probably about 4 years ago.
It's expected to be like 11 million or something like that by 2100.
It'll hit that long before 2100.
It's great. Here, look at. So when were you born? 1994.
Yep, 94.
World population. Well, let's look at it now. I think it's like 7.6 billion.
Yeah. And China, Brazil, and America are the big 3.
Yeah, but China and India have a lot more than, or they have a billion more than us.
Yeah, and if you look at them, their economy is booming, yes, but the standard of life, the difference in
so many people to support.
It's the class inequality there is far greater than the US. Like those, there are people there who are going to dentists on the street and they're trading in bread just to get a tooth fixed, whereas here, people expect that to be handed to them.
Right.
It's like.
So you're saying the entitlement here is a lot worse?
Oh, it's god awful in the West, Britain, UK. Well, in the UK and America, it's horrendous. It's like imagine being driven to school every day by your parents, and suddenly you have to walk there now because they say, "Oh, you've hit a certain age now. You'd still want to be driven, or at least be given a car to drive." Depending on how you've been raised, but that's how a lot of people would react. All right, so where are we?
My bad. I was paying attention to this.
Oh, it's like 5.6 billion.
5.6 billion. It has gone up 2 billion in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Same here, basically. It went up, 100 million between years.
Shit.
Dude, this growth is exponential.
Yeah, so that's...
1950, it was only 2.5 billion.
Sure, look, 90 years ago, it was only 2 billion. So, yeah.
Wow, yeah. Wow. Started the 1900s, next century.
All right, that was back. Sure, if you look
1.6 billion.
If you actually look as well at between 1900, I'm surprised they don't have a more accurate census there. But between 1900 and 1927, there was World War One. So that but they still managed to gain 400 million. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, was there a baby boom after World War One as well? Because obviously World War Two, baby boomers.
54 million people. I think it was 54 million people died during World War Two.
50 million?
54 million, 54. I think. 54 million.
Yeah, it makes sense if you include the Holocaust, the actual war on the battlegrounds, all the countries at stake, the Hiroshima, Nagasaki,
they say it was,
Pearl Harbor, D-Day.
Yeah, and then there was the 20 million Russians that died just from starvation and by good old communism, which people still think would work today.
Well, they were fighting on the cold fronts. Which is also their big advantage over the Nazis. Whenever the Nazis started to invade Russia a little bit.
No, they were just.
That definitely worked to their advantage.
They're just too big to. It's basically like if you're playing a game of Risk. You've got 10 men, you think you can take 12 spots when you can't.
Right.
They thought wrong, and Russia just knew. Okay, let's just.
That's where the Nazis fucked up. That's where Hitler fucked up.
Oh yeah, no, he fucked up long ago. Before, the beginning of his downfall was when he tried taking on Britain in the Battle of the Blitz. Like, that was... Basically, we were the first army to beat him back and actually beat him at something.
Really?
Yeah, but I love how the Americans still take credit for winning the war.
They throw so much credit on.
Like, you basically just landed on a beach and you basically just blew up an island.
Right.
You also sold us weapons for the first 3 years and didn't bother doing anything until both teams were almost exhausted. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, but Hitler definitely messed up. Hitler recommended, he said, don't wake the sleeping beast or something like that to the Japanese, and then they bombed us on Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah.
The Russians and the United States, obviously, I'm not trying to take away any credit that England came in and you guys did, but
our best moment was basically the Battle of the Blitz, the London Blitz. That was our best moment.
That's when he really fought back whenever he was invading.
Because he had been so successful with his Blitz technique for countless battles. Like, that's how he beat Poland. That's how he beat France. He just battled everyone, blitzed them, bang, bang, bang. Did it to Britain. Half of London burnt to the ground, but we still rose up and fought back with a vengeance. And this is after we had to retreat from Dunkirk.
That was the mentality, right? Like, we will not give up. We will fight to death.
Yeah, Winston Churchill made the speech around then.
There's some pride. He actually made it in Fulton, Missouri, right?
I don't know where.
There's a place. No joke, dude. There's this place called Fulton, Missouri that he made this very notorious speech for World War II, and it's this random town in the middle of Missouri. It's like an hour from my house, but. We used to drive down there because there were some kids in my high school who had a farm down there. And we would drive, it's called Kingdom City, Missouri, and then Fulton's a little outside.
But the speech...
And we just had these massive parties in high school there.
Yeah, no, but the We Shall Fight Them on the Beaches speech was made in Parliament, I think, and then he broadcast it.
Okay.
I think he did, yeah. I know he did that in the UK, because that was around the time of the bombings. But it was... Yeah, it was some time to be around, apparently.
Either way, is it a pretty notorious speech?
I wouldn't say notorious, but it's a very inspirational one, and it was quoted a lot. But it's the fact that was whenever Britain was like, okay, we aren't going to roll over and die.
The attitude, the mentality of the war just completely shifted. Like,
you wouldn't get that today.
You don't think so?
Well, I reckon if America was to get attacked today, by God only knows who, or if they were to get bombed by some terrorist organization, the liberals of America would be like, oh, we just need to love and respect these people. We need to stop the government movements, or, oh, we need to do this. Like,
maybe.
Yeah, you are not going to do anything.
Maybe. I mean, you never know. Whenever people feel unsafe and they don't feel safe, I mean, I think they're going to fight back audaciously.
It's like, to be fair, like, I've been assaulted on 5 occasions by liberals and not once by a Republican, put it that way.
What do you mean?
Well, when I was in Finnegan's Wake Bar, on 2 occasions, 2 people tried taking swings at me because I criticised Bernie for one of his policies.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
people are too edgy when it comes to politics. That's why I enjoy talking politics, but I like to think of them as objectively as I possibly can.
Basically, people need to stop thinking with their feelings and actually think logically.
Absolutely.
Like, if it hurts your feelings, then you're not in the right area.
Not to change up the subject, but I wrote down I did a little, like, research on Ireland.
Yeah.
And, I just thought these are, like, some of the cooler facts I found.
Oh, tell me, I still don't know much about the South.
So, Irish consume an average of 131 liters of beer per year. That's the second highest.
That's about right.
To the Czech Republic.
Yeah, it's Czech Republic. It's like €2 a pint.
No way.
Oh, they have their own distilleries and everything out there. With us,
whenever I think of like beer and I think of Europe, I think of Ireland and I think of Germany.
Yeah.
Those are the two I think of first.
The taxes on everything jumped over the last decade.
There's a tavern or a bar. I think it might be the oldest bar in the world. And the oldest one in Ireland, it's called Sean's Bar, and it's been around since 900 AD.
Shit.
And there's another called Brazen Head, one of the two.
I've heard of it, yeah.
And that's been operating as a tavern since
1178?
1178, yep.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
And I read it was a snake-free island, which is crazy cool.
Yeah, thanks St. Patrick.
Do what?
Thank you, St. Patrick.
Wait, he just killed all the snakes?
Apparently.
Really?
He drove them out of Ireland. That's how the legend
just
goes.
Didn't like them?
Serpents are the symbol of the devil. What Christian doesn't?
Wow, so it all goes back to religion again.
Yeah, St. Patrick. He's the guy that's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, no shit, really?
He's the guy that drove snakes out of Ireland, allegedly. He was actually...
And that's what he's, like, famous for?
Yeah, the funny thing as well is he's actually Welsh.
He's Welsh, really?
Yeah, but everyone says he's Irish, and he's not.
Welsh meaning, is that Dutch?
No, like from Wales.
Wales, okay, that was...
Yeah.
Wait, that's part of the United Kingdom as well, right?
Yeah, Wales is a bit no one likes talking about.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about St. Patrick as well is he was kidnapped and he was stuck on this mountain called Slemish, which is basically just like a massive lump in the ground.
That sounds like Slemish? That sounds like something you like get caught in your throat.
Oh yeah, but we need to see the mountain. It's actually quite pretty. So,
you good, man? You good? No, I got some Slemish in my throat.
Right.
Oh wait.
Oh well, you spell it SLEM.
SLEM.
ISH.
ISH.
There she is, mountain.
Oh, mountain.
There she is. See it? He was stuck on the top of one of those there.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it just looks like a spot in the landscape.
Yeah, it looks just completely flat, just beautiful, like prairie kind of, and then you suddenly just see a
boom
mountain. Just
it's not that high. I think it's only like 1,000 feet or something. But yeah, so he herded sheep on the top of that mountain, and it took him, I don't know how long it took him a while to realize that no one was actually watching him.
Why was he expecting somebody to
he
watch
was
him?
a prisoner there, and he's supposed to herd sheep.
Oh, so then he just escaped?
It took him, I don't know how long, I don't know if it was several months or several years, but he was there and was like, wait, no one's actually guarding me.
And he just left?
Yeah.
What?
He walked 200 miles to...
Is this a folk legend, or is this actual fact?
This is actual fact, apparently.
And this is St. Patrick?
Yeah, he just buggered off. I was like, okay.
He broke out of prison with... Did he bring his sheep?
I don't even know.
Fuck off, sheep.
I assume he would need to eat something.
He really took that long? He took years?
I don't know if it was years. I haven't heard the story in ages.
Well, he
was there for an extended period of time.
Even if it was like 2-3 months or something like that, like that's a while, and then like that could get really extended to like, I don't know, like 8-9 months, and then over time it just keeps getting longer and longer. People exaggerate.
See if there's a actual source, or just type in St. Patrick sheep herding, or sheep. St. Patrick escapes Slemish. Let's see what we got. Patron saint was taken to Ireland, sold as a slave, sent to herd sheep and swine. You see that there, the second from the bottom?
Right here?
Right here. Yeah. So let's see what he did. Okay.
Around 400 AD, St. Patrick was born in Wales.
Yep. Eventually, probably. St. Patrick, yeah. Oh, well, it says about snakes in the bottom there.
Where's that at?
He's just banging them out by a drum, the snakes.
Banging them out like a drum.
Yeah.
That is not an American expression at all.
Oh,
That's funny.
He was banging a drum and that scared them away.
Okay.
What's that? It's why the pig and Irish difficulty. I just hit Control F and type sheep and see if we can find it. Just speed it up.
Good call.
Where are we?
Is that the...
There.
Oh, it's the first sentence.
Oh.
First sentence, we couldn't even find it.
Version, following the version. Oh, yeah. So, in the northeast of Ireland, he saw something. He discovered God. So, yeah, he spent years on this mountain.
Wow.
He escaped and struggled home.
What an escape. He probably just walked back.
He literally did the easiest prison break ever.
Yeah, I think of that. Like whenever I think of Prison Break, I think of, what's that movie? Shawshank Redemption, whenever he breaks out of the prison. He's climbing through shit in these tunnels. I think of that.
Oh, yeah.
Digging away at, like, some elaborate scheme.
Then you get St. Patrick who just walks out.
Probably the only guy to ever be in prison with sheep.
Oh, God.
Hopefully they get too lonely up there with those sheep.
He's a Welshman, so he had plenty of fun.
That is fucked.
No, fun facts about the Welsh and why they keep getting the piss taken out of them for sheep shagging and all that. And
Wait, sheep shagging?
Yeah.
Like fucking sheep.
Yeah,
that's a real expression.
That's a joke for them, yeah. There's always a joke that the Welsh are sheep shaggers.
Oh, goodness.
Mostly because in the medieval times with Wales, if you stole a sheep, you lost your hand, chop off your hand. Whereas if you were making love to a sheep, you just lost a finger. So if anyone was caught stealing sheep, they would just say, "Nope, I was doing the deed with her. I was having sex with the sheep."
That sucks. Anybody walking around without a finger on, they're just like, "Oh, that guy fucked a sheep."
No, that guy
fucked a sheep.
Like, no, that guy got caught. So
that guy got caught.
So that's basically how it works.
So what are your 3 favorite sports?
Well, rugby is obviously one of them.
Rugby.
I like powerlifting, so that's what I do.
I knew you powerlifted.
Yeah, I like to lift.
I like rugby. Rugby's probably my 3rd favorite sport, personally.
3rd favorite sport? I actually haven't really thought about that. You see, I don't mind watching any sports, except soccer. I just find that I just find it boring. Although
that's my number 1.
Well, this sounds a little bit controversial, but I sometimes find women's soccer to be more entertaining than men's soccer because those bitches get savage.
Yeah, absolutely. They get feisty. They get mean.
Oh, God, yeah. No, it's like, you ever seen those compilation videos of men's sports versus women's sports?
No. Probably a lot more hair pulling in women's sports as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, Lord. It's also funnier at times.
Really?
Yeah, like there was this one video I saw where this female goalkeeper, and she couldn't save anything to save her life.
What country was she from, by chance?
I couldn't tell you, but
okay. You know who our goalie is here, right?
No.
That's probably Joe.
All right.
Our goalie here is Hope Solo for the women's team. She's kind of crazy, dude. She got involved with she went to jail or did something.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oof.
I ask because if you ask any American, I like asking people like outside of the country what their favorite sports are. Because if you ask any American, they're probably going to tell you either football, baseball, basketball.
Yeah, see, I don't mind I don't mind watching baseball. And it's entertaining.
Hockey's a common one as well. I'd say those 4 you're going to get 90% of the time.
Yeah, I like to watch the tennis as well, mostly whenever I'm gambling on who wins. But,
okay. Tennis would be cool.
Do you ever watch Wimbledon?
No, I don't know what that is. Is that from Harry Potter?
No. Oh, God damn it. Now, Wimbledon's like the most prestigious tennis tournament in the world.
No shit.
Yeah, it's sponsored by Rolex. And
Roger Federer.
Won it 8 times.
Really?
He won it 8 times, I think. 7 or 8. I need to double check that.
I think it's so cool. Every sport has their dominant player.
Oh, yeah.
Like Pele for soccer. Well, now Messi. I would say Messi surpassed him. Him and Ronaldo, I think they both surpassed him.
No, but there's, what do you call it? It's a grass court one. It's one of the few grass court big league ones left, I think, because the US Open's on. It's indoor stuff, isn't it?
What do you mean?
I think it's on like this special material for indoor tennis, whereas Australia and the French Open are on clay. So every service is different.
No way.
Oh yeah,
they'll play on clay, really?
Yeah, like Nadal's he was renowned for being one of the best players on clay in the world.
Oh wow.
He dominated clay.
So it has that much of a difference. Like that court makes that much of a difference.
Oh yeah.
I guess it'd be like playing on turf versus playing on
turf. That was the
grass.
Well, the grass, by the time we get to the final, it's worn down because the grass is only like 3 millimeters long. Or
right. Oh, I mean like the comparison between like football or like soccer.
Oh yeah, it's different.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, I remember like during last Wimbledon, I did one of those 20 game parlays.
Okay.
It's just to really get an accumulator up, and I got 19 out of 20 of them correct.
No shit.
The only one that screwed me over was a guy that
95%.
Yeah, there was this one guy that I can't remember what player it was, but basically they went on too long and then the umpire called the game off, and then they came back the next day and he was beaten within the first 10 minutes because it was like a tiebreaker for the win,
right?
And they wouldn't let him play an extra 10 minutes.
No shit.
Like, son of a bitch. It would have been like 15 grand if I won.
Oh, that would irk me for a few days, man.
Oh god, no. Parlays are
that would bother me.
No, the most frustrating one I've ever had was with the I think it was the Euro Soccers or whatever it was. It was back 2 years ago. Again, 19 out of 20 I got correct. The only one that screwed me over was Russia v England.
Are you talking about the games like in the playoffs?
No, well, I'm not actually sure. It was the first week of
the first week of games.
It was the first week of the Euros. I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember what the official name of the.
Do you know, Joe? So you bet on that? Bet on that?
Only occasionally. Like I only bet like £1 or £2 at a time. But I go all out with the parlays.
That's cool. Because in the World Cup in 2014 World Cup and the playoff round of elimination, like one loss, you're done. I guessed every single game right. Oh. No exaggeration, like every game.
Did you bet on it?
No, I just wrote it down. I wrote down my own bracket. I've got because I think there were 16 teams.
Try gambling next time.
Yeah.
No, I tried.
Literally every game, I was like, what? I was so mad at myself. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have done something, betting a few bucks.
Russia equalized the game in the 98th minute. I'm like, why the hell did you play an extra 8 minutes? There was no need.
8 minutes of extra time?
Something like that. Anyway, they were into overtime.
So you just like betting. You don't really care too much about like what you're betting on. Like you don't as far as the sport.
I'll go the sports. Well, my roommates were watching the soccer, and I had an app on my phone that let me do it. I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot.
Sounds like you did good. 19 out of 20, 95%, man. Only one game wrong.
It would have been like 115 grand if I got it right as well.
No shit.
Because I was like, you know what? 3-1.
That's your student loans. That's everything, dude.
That would have been 140 in dollars. I was like, hey, 3. So I was like, 3-1 chance.
So who
this
won?
Team's gonna draw.
You thought Russia was gonna win, or you thought?
I thought England was gonna win.
Okay. That's probably what I would have bet on too. I don't know. There, I maybe would have called an upset. That sounds like an upset that could possibly happen because England chokes, man. They choke.
The odds of England winning were 2-1. The odds of Russia winning were like 6-1 or whatever it was.
No shit, really.
The odds of a draw were 12-1.
Right. See, I don't know what I would have done there. I could see myself going like for Russia just on the upset, but England's definitely the better squad. And
well, to be fair, there aren't that many English players left anymore.
I don't know. You guys got a lot of youth coming up.
Well, maybe, I don't know. But
so did you play rugby?
For a better part of 10 years.
10 years, wow.
Yeah, wasn't the best in high school because I had no drive in high school.
I know rugby. Once you understand the sport of rugby and you understand the sport of AFL, Australian Football League, they're so different. But like on the surface, like an American watching that doesn't understand them very much, you'd be like, wow, these are like the same sport. But no, they're not.
American football is.
Well, not American football, Australian football.
Oh, Australia rules?
They have their own football league. They have like
right. They have their own NFL?
Yeah, so it's I actually have a ball upstairs in my room, but it's very similar to a rugby ball. It's a little bit slimmer.
I think you're talking about Australia rules, maybe. Like, Google it there, because Australia rules is like they play in an oval.
Really? Really?
Yeah. I think that's what you might be on about.
Oh, I keep typing in Google and Australian...
Australia rules.
Football.
Oh, you just type in rules, like RULS. You don't need the football bit.
Should I take out the football?
Yeah, because that's what it's called on Ladbrokes that I use.
Australia rules. Australia rules!
Let's just go to images and see.
AFL Commission. I've watched one game, so it's a circular.
Look, as you see, they've got 2 posts there, whatever it is.
Okay, I don't understand the scoring too much.
I type in pitch, then just get a look at the pitch.
The pitch. It's another thing. I'm a very American, or a very like Europeanized American for sure. Like,
yeah.
I don't really enjoy American sports as much as I enjoy like other sports around the world.
It's definitely overhyped a lot over here. Like
what is?
So some of your like just sports in general out here.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like
we love sports here.
Oh, it's like if you're going up through high school, you can get so many perks if you just play football. It's like with us, the only perks you got was you got a slight advantage of getting into the next year group if you were doing bad in grades. That was literally it.
So like if you ask a first grader in Ireland or in Northern Ireland, if you ask them, what do you want to be when they grow up? Like, are you going to get a typical response of a famous athlete?
Probably. You never know.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like a culture thing.
No, if you ask, it's better if you ask like a teenager what they're going to get because they have a better idea. Because then by teenage years, you know well enough if you're going to make it in sport or not. And most don't.
Okay.
Most.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like realistically, down the line, people realize like, yo, I'm not that great of an athlete. Like versus whenever you're 8, like people will be like, I want to be a professional soccer player.
No, to be fair with us, you're hardly likely. No one offers you any scholarships for anything.
Really?
There are some universities that will, but it's nothing like here. Like here, it's like half the football team in high school will probably apply for a scholarship, right? But yeah, it's just like, well, sure. In the college I went to, we didn't even know we had a rugby team. It was like,
how long did you go there?
We had a rugby team. Well, technically 3 years, but I only spent 2 years there.
And rugby's the main sport there? No,
rowing would be.
Rowing,
but you wouldn't even know that there was stuff happening.
No shit. What are some other like really common sports in Ireland?
I don't know about Gaelic. There's Gaelic, camogie, and hurling. That's all Ireland.
Okay.
Northern Ireland, not so much. There's the GAA, which would be the Irish branch in the north. They would play camogie and Gaelic. But again, the Protestant Catholic thing. A lot of Protestant schools don't want to have to do that or try that, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's just how it works. Like they try to bring in Gaelic into our school.
And what is Gaelic?
Gaelic.
Gaelic.
It's a cross between hockey and murder.
Hockey and murder?
Yeah.
What a comparison! Wow. Is it on ice?
Oh no, sorry. That's hurling is hockey and murder. No, it's on the pitch. In fact, if you go on YouTube, just type in brutal Gaelic hits. Gaelic is like soccer and rugby.
This is my channel, by the way, right here.
Oh, fair enough. Subscribe.
Hey. But what was that? Hurling?
Brutal hurling.
Brutal hurling. There might be some throwing up right now. Oh, okay, never mind. Best goals and points.
I just go to any of them.
The fastest game on grass.
Once a client sees a 3-year rendering, they have that aha moment.
There's so many cool sports over in other countries that are just undiscovered by Americans. So I like to question that. I like to see what's everything that exists, not just in...
Yeah. If you look at this, a lot of the times people don't wear helmets.
No shit, I literally just... So my roommate is... Right now, two of my roommates are in Louisiana. They're down in New Orleans for formal.
Yeah.
And his buddy from Arkansas, this girl from down in Arkansas drove up, and she played this sport. And I just held her racket for a little bit to see like what it felt like. Oh, this is cool, dude.
Yep.
Can you hit with the sticks?
Oh yeah, you're meant to.
Her stick was pretty heavy too.
Oh yeah, they've got a bit of metal in the top so that they don't break.
So you catch with your hands.
Yep. and then you bash it with a stick.
And can you just run?
Yep. You have to scoop it up with the ball though, but there are so many broken fingers and just so many injuries in this game.
I bet.
Although sure, half of them don't even have helmets on.
Seems how lacrosse is too.
Yeah, but lacrosse, you have a little basket to catch and carry it in, and it's a smaller pitch as well.
See, this is cool to me. This is cool. I would love to try this.
Yeah, and then you have Gaelic as well.
How do you spell that?
Gae. Gaelic. There it is. They're done.
Gaelic football?
Yep.
Oh wow, we've been going for an hour.
Wow. So yeah, it's basically a cross of a lot of sports together. You have to bounce the ball every now and again.
No shit. So you kick.
No, you want to play Gaelic?
No way. So you have to juggle it every once in a while.
Yep, dribble. Yeah.
Dude, I would be good at this.
Yeah.
This is something that plays to my strengths.
Yeah, you see, they tried bringing this to my high school, but a lot of the Protestants there didn't want it.
No shit, really? Why? Oh, so you can kick like a field goal almost,
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Dude, this looks really cool. Can you pass like throw it?
I'm not actually sure. I've never played the game.
Well, he just threw it there. He threw it underhand. Do you throw it underhand or is that
probably?
Oh, I would love to be able to just savage defending. That juke though.
The basic.
I'll make this full screen so the camera can see a little better.
Yeah.
I hope the camera can see. I don't know if it can or not.
Nah, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think it can either.
No, you can probably splice it in later.
The reason I got the TV is for the camera too, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
So there's a goalie. This reminds me of soccer with your hands.
It's a hybrid with a lot of variations in there, plus basketball because you have to dribble it.
Can you tackle?
Oh yeah. It can get brittle.
Looks like you have to bounce, and then after you bounce it, you have to juggle it up to yourself with a kick.
Yep.
Oh, that's bizarre. This is cool, dude.
Yeah. You see, in Northern Ireland anyway, there's still a lot of people that have the whole Catholic v Protestant vibe of, this is Britain, we don't want the Irish stuff up here.
Why?
I don't know, it's pretty much what they've been taught to believe. A lot of the time it is just generations telling, older generations, indoctrinating the younger ages. Like, it sounds bad to me to say this, but there are times whenever I just don't really feel safe around some Catholic areas back home because, you stick out like a sore thumb, then and
there's judgment.
Yeah, plus if I was to have the same victimhood mentality as a lot of people over here would have, if I was to have to carry that attitude into those environments, where it'd be these kind of environments, if they were to call me Protestant scum or, insult the Queen or any of that stuff, just anything derogatory towards a British or Protestant person, then if I had that same attitude as a lot of liberals over here had, then I would be, a victim, I would be
offended.
Yeah, it's like, so instead of just putting myself through all of that there and being the only Protestant there, it's like, just don't go.
Yeah.
Simple as. But it's also a bit of a double standard with us, especially in the town where I live in. Like, they'll fly the tricolour, right? The green, white and gold flag of Ireland.
Okay.
They'll fly that all the time, but if you fly the Union Jack flag or a British flag or any of that stuff, it has to be taken down within a week or so because it's offensive.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, sure, the Union Jack flag...
Sounds like political correctness is just as bad over there, just different things.
It's double standard, is all it is. It's like, imagine flying, the Mexican flag throughout Texas.
Right.
Or the Russian flag in Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Conor McGregor?
Loudmouth.
Loudmouth.
But legend.
Absolutely.
Nah. he has to play the game. We all know that. But the fact that he still, like, some of the stuff he did after he became famous were, they were quite respectful. I can't list them off the top of my head here, but I remember reading stuff about how he couldn't afford to pay people for certain stuff, so he paid them back thousands times over after he became rich and all that stuff. And I do like the way how he's still with his girlfriend before he was famous.
Okay.
Like, he could have drop kicked her at any given time and gone after a supermodel. That is cool. But the fact that she also stayed with him.
That's the coolest part about it. She saw the vision as well, and she supported it, and she stood by him.
She was an absolute legend with him. And then the fact that he stayed with her, and because it's like, if you've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, he's with his wife, and then he ends up getting a supermodel when he gets rich, right? Same story with Citizen Kane, same story with a lot of rich
It's so
people.
easy to, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but Connor didn't, so he's got integrity, which I liked.
Because the grass isn't always greener. It's not always greener, and like, honestly, somebody who's going to come up with you and really grow as a person with you, if you guys grew together throughout that experience, like...
Oh, yeah, no, those two they're a good power couple, I think. Oh, but just a funny thing about grass is greener saying, if two people are standing on either side of a fence, if you look down, you're going to see the dirt in between the grass blades, but if you look to your neighbour's one at that angle, you just see the tops of the grass.
So it's going to look greener?
That's why it looks greener.
That's a metaphor for life, right? Yeah,
that's where it comes from.
A metaphor for life.
So yeah, it's like looking at something from an angle. Yeah, it's like looking at the city of a skyline.
That's a metaphor for looking if like you shift your perspective on life. Then.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, well, this is shit. Like, it looked better over there.
There's some wisdom within that.
Yeah, I'm full
just
of
looking over and into your neighbor's yard.
Yeah. Oh well, that's how that works.
Do you live near an ocean back home?
We are surrounded by an ocean.
Is it pretty desirable to go swim in the summertime?
Oh God, no.
No, not even in the summertime?
Do you see how far north we are? It is.
Hey, I was optimistic, really. No, not even.
Baltic up north. Like, we get all the crap and all the tail ends of hurricanes that you guys crap out in the summer.
You can't blame natural phenomenons on us.
No, we blame the jet stream. You see this arrow? That's the jet stream. So all this shit comes up towards us.
No shit. So it's really windy up there.
Yeah. So for around September, October time, it gets really windy for us because that's when the hurricanes dissipate and come over us. We occasionally get the heat waves from Europe, but 90 degrees is considered a heat wave to us.
Right. Well, 90 degrees is pretty warm.
60 is a warm day for us. Like, outside today, it's grey, it's overcast, it's beautiful, it's not raining. That's how we look at it.
Yeah, but you're Does it rain a lot up there as well?
Oh God, yeah.
I bet.
Not as bad as Scotland though.
Scotland's worse, really?
Oh God, yes. Like,
I am not a huge fan of rain. Rain is kind of depressing.
Nah, but with us, we do okay. Like, the west of Ireland gets the worst of it because that, like, it's like a mountain range. So when the Atlantic current hits, it hits the west first, but it's still going to affect us because we're only like a couple hundred miles from it.
Right.
Like, you're never more than 30 or 40 miles from the coast in Northern Ireland anyway.
That's why I asked, because I was looking at it, the geography of it looks like it.
Yeah,
like, even if you're in the center, like, you could probably make it to the ocean pretty quickly.
2 hours you're in the coast.
So that's okay. So it's, wow, the entire country is about the size of, a little bit bigger than Missouri.
Yeah.
Ish.
The island, I'd better say.
The island.
It's my island.
So have you been anywhere else in Europe?
I've been to Spain, Tenerife, France, Switzerland, and some of the islands off the coast of Spain here, but that's about it. I haven't been to Europe very much because, well, each country's a different language for one thing, and.
But English is pretty much what predominantly dominates it, right? No, really.
Oh no.
Well, I know with Germany, a lot of Germans know English as well.
Oh yeah, because English it's like Americans. You guys learn Spanish in high school, right?
Right.
Yeah, they learn English everywhere else.
Learn Spanish. Yeah, I don't know. Like Spanish, I took it for.
Nah, it's It's
a year or a semester of college and 2 years of high school, and I don't know anything.
They really should make it more compulsory for us to learn at least French or something in schools, because they wait until we're 11 or 12 years old, and by then it's harder to learn a language.
Absolutely.
Like, if anything, they should at least teach the basics and the vowels and stuff, or something like that in elementary, just to give you an idea for going into secondary school.
Well, there's way more of an incentive if you live over in Europe to learn other languages. Like, in the United States, I would argue that it's just not that applicable, honestly. Like, I mean, Mexico's down south, but I mean, really, who wants to go to Mexico if you're already in the U.S.?
Well, spring breakers go to Cancun.
Right, but that's for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Like for me to learn another language, the incentive would have to be that I'd plan to spend a decent amount of time in that destination.
It's different between the UK and America, because in the UK now the multiculturalism is so vast now that in some elementary schools classes are made up of like 30 different languages.
Really?
They have to speak English in that because it's the most common tongue.
Okay.
But then again, you see, there are about 27 countries, I want to say, in Europe, or approximately. 4 of those are from the UK, unless they count the UK as one, I don't know. But all the Eastern European countries, they each have their own language. So, it's English.
That's where the diversity seems to be, is on the eastern part of Europe.
Sure, there's like 3 languages alone in Switzerland. It's French, German, and English.
What a cool dynamic to bring to a country.
Yeah, well,
that's the real melting pot.
Well, they're also not a part of the European Union, and they also have the similar gun laws that you have.
Really?
Citizens can buy guns, but they're very strict about it.
Okay. I'm assuming we're a lot more lenient here.
Oh yeah.
Really?
You don't need to have a license. You just walk in.
Yeah, that's
a citizen. Yep.
Hot topic right now. I don't really have much of an opinion. I don't really see the problem with having guns. I know there have been a lot of shootings, but
to be fair, I feel safer in a bunch of Republican areas, because if someone does go on a killing spree, there's a good chance there's a cowboy with a gun there.
I think I trust in the nobility of the common man enough to say that they're not going to just shoot us up. You know what I mean? Like I just believe in justice.
Now, if you look at it, though,
you're right. In those places with a lot of guns.
How many of these? I know there's been a few, but how many of the main shooters have been Republicans?
That I don't know.
Very, very few.
Really?
The majority of them are Democrats.
Are you sure you're not Republican? You sound.
No, that's the thing. Well, if you ask me about religion, which Republicans love, I'll tell you that I think it should be completely separate from lawmaking.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I don't think it should be forced, and I don't think you should force children to take religious classes like I was made to do in school, and I don't think that you should be.
Did you go to a Catholic school, or did you go to
Protestant? I'm
Protestant,
from Northern Ireland.
Okay, so you went to a Protestant. My bad. Whenever I think of like a private school is a better way to.
Oh yeah,
in America, you went to a private school.
Oh God, no. Private schools they were almost outlawed in the UK.
No shit. Why?
All children are created equal and should have equal chances.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. They got rid of.
I guess I kind of see it from that point of view.
They basically were called grammar schools. That was the better ones. Basically, with us, if you were smarter at a younger age, you went to a grammar school.
Okay.
In Northern Ireland, in England, it's different. They got rid of grammar schools because they were fancy. In Northern Ireland, we still have them, but we had a transfer test. They got rid of the transfer test because apparently it put too much anxiety on young kids.
Okay.
The new system they have is even worse, though, because instead of doing 2 tests, they now do like 6 tests or whatever it is, and children are struggling because they're fitting their parents' ego of making them go to a grammar school. So they had to lower standards for kids to get in.
Oh shit.
And now they're suffering more because they're going to a school they're not qualified for. And then they end up going to the school they would have gone anyway because they have to drop out of it. But yeah, so that's how that works. But well, let's go back to the whole gun scenario we're talking about there. What was it? Oh yeah, Democrats and Republicans. Yeah, with gun. Well, Northern Ireland's the only country you can actually buy handguns to an extent. Handguns are illegal in England, as far as I know. I don't know about...
No shit, really?
Well, that's what they say. I don't know about France... I don't know about Scotland and Wales. I don't know their laws, but...
Like illegal to own or illegal to carry? To buy?
You cannot carry.
Okay.
If you're carrying it, you need to have it in one of those little, like, travel cases unloaded and in the trunk of your car.
Wow.
And you need to have your license with you all the time. And
okay.
Like, to get a gun with us, you need to have a reason for one thing.
It's so weird that we have these life-ending tools, because that's what essentially guns are. They're just these tools that can just end lives, and that you can just carry it. It's accessible enough to just carry it in your pocket. Yeah, true.
So is a knife. So is a firework. So is a car. So is
a lot of things are many ways to die.
You can use anything you want to kill people, really, but sure. Well,
guns are certainly one of the most convenient.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it's like, sure, look at Chicago. Guns are incredibly difficult to get in Chicago. It's one of the highest kill rates, though, from guns. So
Chirac.
Yeah, so there's that there. New York, guns are illegal there, but it's still a high crime rate area. Plus, knife crime is the highest there in the country. And sure, if you look at California, also incredibly strict gun laws.
It makes sense to have pretty lenient gun laws to me in the aspect. I'm not saying I don't have a very strong opinion on this, and I'm very open to different opinions, but it just makes sense to me to put the trust back in the citizens' hands to end something that would be going wrong.
At the end of the day,
or to be able to protect themselves, because that's total sovereignty over your own
sure. Don't forget
life.
It's also the fact that it doesn't matter which state you're in. Like, so, like, we'll put it this way: Obama said that citizens in Illinois can just hop the border and go to Illinois, buy a gun, and come back and buy from private dealers.
They will find a way to get a gun.
98% of private dealers will not sell you their weapons. The 2% that will sell you their weapons will put an extra 0 at the end of the price tag, and they'll file off the serial number, and then the gun becomes illegal. It's like people break the law every day. That's illegal doing that, but.
So you're saying there's some corruption in banning it in certain states and not in others?
Oh yeah, there's corruption. Everywhere. You get people that are legal, law-abiding, they'll do it, but sure, well, look at college. You can get people that have ADHD. They can go to a doctor and get Adderall, and then they sell Adderall for $5 a tablet. That's no different than someone selling a gun with a serial number sawed off.
Right. They have access to it, and there's a demand for it in the market.
People will find it. Sure, you have to be 21 to buy liquor. You can get someone that's older than you to buy it for you. It's simple as. Same with cigarettes. You can't police everything to the hilt. You can only make it slightly difficult.
Absolutely. Make it a slight inconvenience for them to get.
You see, one idea that I had, it would get shot down, obviously, but I got the idea from Black Mirror to an extent, because in Black Mirror, the TV show, in some of the episodes, one episode, if someone blocked you couldn't see them because they had these retina things, right?
Okay.
Well, I had this idea where if you're a law-abiding person, you get approved, right? And you buy a gun, if you get your hand scanned or whatever, right? And then if there's a print on a gun where it's only your print that's allowed, will actually fire it. These guns exist. Some people do have.
Wow, that's like the smartphones, but
smartphones
with guns. So it's implementing new technology.
Yeah, if you were to have that, well, Republicans wouldn't like this, or libertarians wouldn't like this, because then the government can have your prints on record. So that's a downside to it. But on the other side, it shows that you're willing to say, well, these are what I have, and you can see that I'm not going to go on a rampage.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, I also had one thought, but this would be too difficult to implement, but. I'm at, how with drones, and they have no fly zones with them?
I've heard that.
Well, for my drone that I have back home...
You have a drone, really?
Yeah, the DJI Phantom 3. If I was to plant that on an airport runway and try and take off, it wouldn't take off because it's in an airport.
Okay.
There are certain
Wait. So Wait, you just blew my fucking mind. You can, they can...
GPS, yeah. They have, in the software update, there are certain areas that are no-fly zones where...
So you literally cannot fly them. It's...
Yeah. If you start just, like, say, this table is a no-fly zone.
I thought there was just a law you can't fly.
Oh,
literally,
no.
Like, so if you're flying into a no-fly zone, your drone will just fucking drop.
Not drop. No, here's what happens. If, say, I take off here, if you're within X number of feet... Well, if you're flying into a no-fly zone,
okay,
it'll either make you fly upward and it will not go beneath a certain height.
Okay.
Or it will make you, depending how close you are when you start, or if you're at a certain depth, you won't. So you will not be able to go up to a certain height because planes are trying to land above you.
Right.
And within a certain distance from a runway, you will not be able to descend to a certain height because the planes are landing there. So the plane will land under your drone.
Right. Okay.
That's how it worked in some cases. I don't know.
So it's like a steady fall. It's not just an immediate.
Oh yeah, you cannot go to certain heights within certain distances of a runway. No.
That's crazy that they can control that, man.
Yep, they had to because there were too many instances.
Right.
That's how they regulate the drones. No one had an issue with that, right? So imagine if they were to implement like a smart gun, where it wouldn't people couldn't go on and shoot in certain areas, like in a shopping center. No one really needs to have a gun in there, but then again, people that have the older style guns, which is the flintlock, they can still shoot no matter what you do.
The flintlock, like meaning the safety?
The older style ones.
Like where you can just
like a non-smart gun where where anyone could fire. Anyone could do it there and then.
Okay.
People are still going to hoard them. There's no way you could stop that. So that's why that idea would be shot down. You see, I look at ideas and I look at ways of how they work and how they don't work.
And how they will work, yeah. Or how they could possibly work.
If you can overcome your own obstacles, it makes it easier. So it's like whenever you hear.
So you have a prevention focus. You think about something and you may get excited about the possibilities.
But then I look at the realistic
problems.
The realistic side of, oh wait, that wouldn't work.
You seem just after this conversation, you seem like a very rational, logical thinker.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
I like your thought process.
It's like if you look at, this is why I don't say left or right wing anymore. It's like if you look at, like say, tax the rich, millions, whatever, right? Okay, yes. Good, you'll get more money in the tax system, you'll get better cops, you might get better health care, you'll have better roads, you'll have more money. Great. What happens the year after?
I don't know.
Yeah, if I was to finally make it and earn $10 million a year and I lost 80% of that or whatever it was, I would most likely do everything in my power to take all my money out of the country and most likely flee. That way.
I think somebody just got here. I might have my other guest here.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Basically, you need to look at what's wrong. What the potential problems that can arise. It's like, yeah, that's not going to work.
I agree with that thinking.
Yeah, the next year that's not going to work. You find another solution on top of that.
Because it's good that's how you can implement an effective strategy. How you can.
Yeah, but taxes do need to be.
Effective preparation requires some problem solving and potential problems that could arise.
Oh yeah, it's like saying, well, lowering taxes is better in theory because if you have lower taxes, you got more money to play with.
Okay.
Like, put it this way: if you're earning $1,000 a week and you taxed them 25% of that, you've only got $750 at the end of the day left, right?
Right.
And quite often people forget that they have taxes to pay in January, so then that's why they're broke until like February, March time. That's why their credit is bad. Mm-hmm. Then they borrow money to pay for the taxes.
So you would rather, your philosophy on life is you'd rather plan for the worst but hope for the best kind of deal?
A little bit like that, yeah.
Okay.
It's like, sure, if you look at some of the 10 richest countries in the world, 9 of them don't have taxes.
Really? No shit.
Dubai, no income tax.
I have heard that.
Saudi Arabia, no tax.
But they're able to do that because
all the
oil,
Arab,
right?
Yeah, all the Arab countries don't have tax though.
That's cool.
Yeah, whereas the UK, it's 45% at the minute.
45% of people have taxes?
No, 45% tax rate over.
Okay.
Over $120,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost half your money given right back to the government.
Yep. But hey, price of free healthcare, right? But it's free healthcare is overrated to an extent. Like, it's good for the small things that you need.
Okay.
You know, if you break your finger, it doesn't cost $900 to get an X-ray. You just go in, you wait 6 or 7 hours. That's it, fine.
Absolutely, I would agree with that.
But it's for something more expensive stuff that you need to get done. Like, it's very difficult actually getting the surgeries or meeting the doctors that you need, because it's like people just go to the doctors for anything and everything. Here it's more rationalized. Like, you don't need to go unless you're physically bleeding out, right?
Okay, so they use it more since it's
like, put it this way: if you have a cold, what do you do here? What do you do if you have the flu?
If I have the flu,
yeah,
then I would go to Taylor Health. I would go to the doctor.
Hi, as a student, right?
Absolutely.
But if you're average Joe, you just go and get some, tablets from a shop. It's like, what, $5, like the NyQuil stuff?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, you just be cheap and do that, or you just, stay in bed. With us, we just go to the doctor and we can get antibiotics for free and all that crap. But
wow, okay.
It's like, people are also...
So that's a huge luxury.
Yeah, but people like... It's a privilege, yeah, but people like us... Well, not like us, sorry. There are people who are more willing to go to a doctor and get paracetamol, which is just regular painkillers for free, than spend 50 cents.
So
at the store.
Do they use those to get fucked up, or
no? Just for anything. It's like, oh, I've got a headache. It's like, you could just be dehydrated. Drink water then.
Yeah, true.
They never think of other solutions. It's just, oh, just go to the doctor.
Well, they always associate the drug with the quick fix.
Oh yeah,
the quicker fix.
Yeah, but it costs,
you got to think about the healthier fix first.
It's 50 cents if you buy it at the store, and it doesn't cost the National Health Service or anything. It costs the National Health Service a couple dollars every time you use it.
Really?
And you have 20 million people using it for stuff.
Right, that's gonna add up real quick.
Yeah, sure. Our biggest spending is like £90 billion a year, and that's for the healthcare.
Cool. Actually, you wanna wrap this up?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Cool.
It was a heavy session anyway. Yeah.
That was fun, dude. How long did we go for? Oh, almost an hour and a half. Nice.
Oh, high score.
Cool. Well, do you have anything you'd like to say before we end this?
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Become a pop star and they give them to you for free. It's not wrong.
Hey, don't do drugs without me.
Oh, God.
That's from a music group that used to say that. His name was like Dirt Nasty or whatever, but...
I bet, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if you made it this far, then I appreciate you listening. I'm sure James here does as well.
Yeah.
This is an interesting conversation. Definitely one.
Yeah, we started a lot of shit and didn't even finish half of it.
True. I'm a very jumpy person. That's probably on me, honestly. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I like to. I probably move on to topics a little bit before elaborating on them fully.
Right.
Is what it is, but thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.